Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Wes Richardson Unfiltered. Today we are making the juiciest meatloaf you have ever had in your life. I hope you like a juicy loaf. Yes, juicy meatloaf. My dad used to make a banging meatloaf when I was a kid. I loved it so much that I asked him to make it for me when I graduated high school, but he didn't. Anyway, I just remember it just having a lot of flavor. It had bell peppers, it had onion, and yeah, so this is not my dad's meatloaf. This is me just eyeballing it to see what I can do. Folks, this is a new channel. Please help me out and remember to push the little subscribe button for me. Also, comments drive views, even the bad ones, believe it or not. So if you disagree with what I'm doing, if you got a better way of doing it, please let me know. Or if you just want to say, looks good, or that's awful, all that, all the above works. All right, let's dive into the ingredients. So first thing we got is your ground beef. I'm using 80-20 because I want it juicy. Some of y'all might think that's a little bit too much fat. At the end when I cook it in the pan, you'll see you can literally pour out a lot of it, but I want mine juicy, so 80-20 meat. I am using 2 pounds. I'm gonna make 2 small pans of it. I'm using 2 pounds. If you wanna use 1 pound, just cut everything in half, basically. The next thing is your Ritz crackers. Ritz crackers. Now, folks, there's all kinds of Ritz crackers on the shelf. I'm just using the traditional. But I saw like spicy, I saw jalapeno Ritz. You could even use like Cheez-Its if you think about it. Can you imagine that? Meatloaf with Cheez-It crackers? Let me know if that's just disgusting. You will also need some ketchup. Ketchup. You're gonna need some eggs. Onion, I don't know if it matters. I'm using red because that's what I had at the house. Bell peppers. Everybody just got paid yesterday, so the store's out of green peppers. I usually use green, I'm rolling with red, that's all I had. And here is the secret ingredient. Onion soup mix. This is Lipton Recipe Secrets Onion Soup Mix. This is mandatory. With the seasoning, you can do really whatever you want. I'm gonna do salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and I'm going to use Lawry's seasoning salt, 20% less sodium. And as the side, I'm just going to do some instant potatoes and some cut green bean, great value from the Wally World. Easy peasy. So the biggest part of this is just the mixing, really. Some of y'all have watched the videos and you realize, and I've said it multiple times, I'm not a professional chef. I only do easy meals. So this is easy. The hardest part is just the mixing. After you mix it all together, you just throw it in the oven. The instant potatoes, you just boil water? You just boil water and add them. And the green beans, you just warm them up, I'm having a stroke. The green beans, you just warm them up and add your seasoning. So again, super easy. Now, this is the first time I've done this without writing down how much of what I'm putting in here. I'll put the how much of everything at the end of the video, but just know we're gonna have to kind of fumble through this because I've never said, all right, 2 eggs or 3 eggs, how many packs onion soup mix, how many onions, I've never done that. So we'll learn it together as we go. All right, let's get to mixing. All right, we ready? All right, here we go. So we're about to start mixing, but before we do that, I forgot about it. We gotta dice up our onion and our bell peppers. So let me show you how we dice onion and bell peppers Wes Richardson style, the unfiltered style. All right, onion, onion. Y'all tear me apart. Tell me how wrong I am. All right, and cut our ends off. All right, ends off. Usually what I do next is cut them in half. Some of y'all aren't liking this. I know it. I know it. I'm gonna peel them, but it's a lot easier to peel them for me after I cut them in half. Look how easy that was. Look at that. Peel them. Bam. Even if you gotta grab a good layer, that's fine too. Bam. All right. Last one. So I told y'all just a minute ago, I don't know how many onions I'm gonna put in. I guess I'm gonna do 3 small ones, I reckon. I ain't gonna let those go to waste. All right, I'm gonna stop there on the onions for a minute. Usually what I do with the bell peppers, usually when I buy them, it doesn't have the big stem on it. I'm just gonna try and break that off as much as I can. Break it off as much as we can. With my bell peppers, usually I'm just gonna split them in half. And then you see all that white stuff inside? Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that can be bitter. So I usually just rip all that out, right? Ripping it out, ripping it out. I got a little bit of white left here. I try to just take my knife and kind of trim that out a little bit. It's like just bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter. There she is. You know, the last 2 cooking videos I made, I cut myself. I cut myself on my homemade pasta sauce and the beer can chicken video. If you look close, you can see a big old Band-Aid on my thumb. It's kind of nasty. Yeah, and again, folks, I talk about this all the time. I'm not a professional chef. I just remember coming home from the Army and I didn't know how to cook. And I'm not a chef, obviously, but just me wanting to eat something. So I just looked it up and gave it a shot. But I just threw a green pepper or a pepper on my floor. My dog's gonna. How do you know you can't until you try? So believe it or not, if you try, you learn. Can you believe that? It's like magic. And if it's terrible, just don't give up. Just try it again next time. All right, so I got my bell peppers done, my onions done, and again, we're dicing them here. I'm just cutting these into just smaller pieces. Diced onion, diced bell peppers. But they're not diced, Wes. Watch this. Oh, man. Now, see that? Look at this. This is going to be loud. Half an onion. Bam! Half an onion. Bam! Look at that. Easy peasy. Actually, peppers are a little too big. I'm gonna have to cut these down a little bit. Whew, the onions get me now. I'll put the link for this thing in the description for you. Diced onion, diced bell pepper. I think that I just did too much, but that's okay. All right, now we got that done. Now we can start the mixing. So let's rock and roll. Okay, can we see? Yes, mic check. All right, try a different angle because when we start mixing, I want you to be able to see everything. Look at that. Dead center. All right, there's a couple things we need to do before we start mixing. I also forgot about. Is cracker eggs and wick up the eggs. We gotta crush some crackers, and I think we'll be good. So, usually with the eggs, I just grab like a coffee cup, crack my eggs in there. It's just real easy to mix up. Okay, I gotta show that off a little bit. So anyway, I think I'm gonna start with 3 eggs. And usually what I do, if I'm mixing it and I still feel like it's dry, maybe I can add another egg. You can add more crackers and this and that, but I'm just gonna start out with 3. Look at that. 2. 3. Does anybody know what that little white stuff is in the eggs? Not the shells that I just dropped in there, but the little white stuff. I would tell you what my grandmother used to say it is, but YouTube might ban me. All right, I got my 3 eggs. I'm just gonna break the yolk, mix it up. All right, that's good. All right, next thing we're gonna do is get our crackers ready. Now, the reason I got the fresh snacks is because these come in small packs. So if you open up like if you get the regular Ritz crackers, you open up the big one, you know, if you don't use the whole thing, you don't have to like have a reopened wrapper that you're trying to put like a bread tie on it. So anyway, these always just work out well. I'll show you a trick. I'm gonna do 3. If I need more, I'll get more. But anyway, trick that I do with these, I don't even open them up. I just smash them right in the bag. Smash them. And like I mentioned earlier, there's so many different kinds of breadcrumbs that you can use for this. I just prefer the Ritz crackers. It's probably annoying the crap out of y'all's ears. I'm sure you can hear that. Don't do it too much where it busts open, obviously, but I'm gonna start with 3. Okay, it's starting to come open. All right, egged is whisked, however you say that, and crackers are crushed. Now we can start mixing. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start mixing. We'll start with our meat. I don't normally do this with gloves on, but I fished a bass fishing tournament yesterday, and I did very well. I think I finished 7th of 75. And if any bass anglers are out there watching, you know that the next day, if you do well on a bass tournament, you usually have bass thumb, and I do. So it's, if you don't know what bass thumb is, just Google it. But anyway, it's basically scarred up my, my thumb. So anyway, so what I'm gonna do is just add the meat first. You just saw that. And then I'm gonna, before I add anything else, I'm gonna add my seasoning. So right here, I got a little bit of garlic powder. A little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of Lawry's. Is it Lawry's? Am I pronouncing that wrong? Just a little, and salt and pepper. I have the link for these in some of the other videos. I'll put the link for these in the description as well. I got tired of turning the salt and pepper grinders. So here we are. So that's basically all the seasoning I typically use. So the trick is when you're mixing this is just the consistency. If it's too wet, you need more crackers. If it's too dry, you need more egg. But you do want it juicy. I cannot stand a dry meatloaf, so you want it juicy. Whenever this thing is done in the pan, you should see this thing floating in juice. I know that sounds disgusting. It's probably unhealthy, but you can literally turn the pan and drain that out. But the key here is juicy meatloaf. I didn't talk about this earlier, but to cook these, for 1 pound of meat, you're gonna need a 9x5 pan. 9x5 pan, but it's important that it's 3 inches tall. 3 inches tall, 9x5, because I got 2 pounds, I got 2 pans. So we're gonna put, after we mix all this together, we're gonna throw that in the pan, throw it in the oven, and then we're basically done. So I'll go ahead and throw these 3 eggs in here. Worst case scenario, it's too runny, I can add more, crackers. I'm gonna go ahead and just add 2 packs of the crackers. See where that takes us. I got a feeling I'm gonna need more. Into Coco, where you at? I'm dropping stuff. I hope this is a good angle, but I'm doing it different. I'm trying to get y'all to be able to see inside the bowl, but it's just hard to do. Maybe I'll wear a GoPro on my hat and try one. So 2 things of crackers. We'll go ahead and throw in some, bell pepper and onion. When I diced this onion, I should have taken out the onion first, and then dumped it and diced the red peppers. They're kind of mixed in together. That is a lot, folks. That is a lot. It's fine, it's fine. So maybe only 1 bell pepper and 1 onion. Anyway, it's gonna be good, I promise. All right, done that. Now let's move on to our secret recipe, the onion soup mix. The onion soup mix. I thought this was a big secret. My uncle made really good cheeseburgers, and I found out that he uses this in his burgers, and that was his secret ingredient. And I thought he shared with me something that the whole world didn't know, but apparently a lot of people like to use onion soup mix in their stuff. Who knew? I'm just gonna start with 1. We'll probably be okay with 2. Yeah, I think 1 is gonna be fine. All right, so we got our meat in, our eggs in, our seasoning, onion, bell peppers, what else? All right, I'm gonna start mixing. Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, here's the thing. This is where it's gonna aggravate some people. I like to take a little bit of ketchup and squirt it in. Just a little bit of ketchup. We'll talk about the sauce that goes on the top here in a minute, but I probably lost some viewers on that one there, but I do like to squirt a little bit of ketchup in my meatloaf. Let me know if you don't do that. Look at that. Look how juicy that is. Oh, I meant to mention, sometimes I'll dice up some jalapenos and stick them in here. Some jalapenos, feel free to do that. Or you can do some red pepper flakes. Some of my buddies that watch are giving me a hard time about how much red pepper flakes I use. So I think I am gonna need a little more. It's juicy, but as I'm mixing, I think that ketchup put it over the top with the juice. So I'm just gonna add another thing here. The Ritz crackers and absorb some of that moisture. Come on. There we go. Bone mixing. This is the hard part. This is the hard part. I think this is just about perfect. It's not too dry, it's not too wet. So what's gonna happen when we cook it, because I'm using 80-20 meat, a lot of that fat in that meat is gonna help keep it moist, and also the egg as well, which the egg will cook. But anyway, that's basically it. I'm gonna throw it in the pan and put it in the oven. That's what it looks like. Y'all need to see some raw ground beef with the stuff mixed in. That's what you look like. All right, let's put it in the pan and put it in the oven. We're going? We're going. All right, cool. I might be able to just do this in one, but I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, here's the pan I just mentioned, 5 by 9, but make sure it's 3 inches deep. You can put it in one pan. You can put it in one pan, and you cook one for dinner tonight, put the other one in, like, I don't know, refrigerator. I don't know if can you freeze one and cook it following week or something, warm it up. Bam. Bam. I might have been okay with just one. We'll see here in a sec. Yeah, we're gonna be all right with just one. Just dirtied up a dish for no reason. All right, just kind of pack it in. Pack it in. Everybody get the idea? On these cooking videos, I try to show everything. You know, somebody made a joke when I made the Sloppy Joe video. Actually, before I made it, I was like asking, I was like, y'all think that's dumb? I mean, it's such an easy meal. Is it dumb to make the Sloppy Joe video? Everybody knows I make Sloppy Joes, right? Folks, that's my most watched video, Sloppy Joes. Who knew? So I'm like, maybe I can make a video on how to boil water, or how to cook ramen noodles, maybe even ham sandwiches. Anyway, yeah, it did well. People like to see it. The easier, the better, I reckon. I bet you the Sloppy Joe video will do better than this one. We'll see. The key is load me up with comments. If y'all are watching this, I'm telling you, if y'all could just drop, that looks disgusting in the comments for me, it helps, believe it or not. When y'all comment, it tells YouTube that people are enjoying this, so they're commenting on it, so it drives more views. So even bad comments, I'll take it. Give me a thumbs up, whatever. But the views, or the comments, that's what really helps. So, all right, so I got it packed in. I don't want to touch it yet and get raw meat on the other side, but. So that's it. Look at that. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's processed meat, but that's it. You're gonna throw this in the oven and you're gonna cook it. I'm gonna tell you how long here in a second. And at the end, we're gonna do something on the top with the ketchup. And, I mean, don't get much easier, right? All right, ready for the oven? So we're going to do 350 degrees at 1 hour. And you want, if you're an internal temperature person, you want that internal temperature to be 160 degrees. 160 degrees. If there's anybody out there that likes to eat their meatloaf rare, let me know. But if it's processed meat, it's going to be well done for me. So 350 degrees, 1 hour, 160 degrees internal temperature. We're going to put it on the middle rack. Okay, folks, with the instant potatoes and the green beans, I'm not going to include how to make these in the video. You open this can and you pour them in a pot and you get them hot. You don't want to get them too hot where they're soggy, but just get them where they're a little crisp, but not like raw green beans. And then add your flavoring. Usually I do salt and pepper and some seasonal, and that's it, okay? With these, you boil water, take it off a boil, and immediately pour it in. That's it, okay? So again, I'm not gonna spend 20 minutes showing you how to do instant potatoes and warm up some green beans. But if you need help, just Put it in the comments, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so we got about 15 minutes left. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and take it out. And oh, it took longer than an hour, by the way. Right now I'm probably at what, an hour, 15 minutes? But it says, I got one of these electronic thermostats. You plug in, app on your phone tells you when it's gonna be done. It says I got about 15 minutes left. So anyway, I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna go ahead and put a layer of ketchup on the top. Ketchup. Now, I mentioned this earlier about a sauce. There are, for you professional cooks out there, I get it. You can make a meatloaf sauce, like a ketchup-based meatloaf sauce. I typically don't do that. I just put a quick layer of ketchup on the top. But if somebody wants to share their sauce meatloaf recipe, let me know. But we just gonna do ketchup. So let's see what it looks like. There she is. Nom nom. Look at all that juice. How juicy she is. Okay, like I said, thin layer of ketchup. That's how I grew up eating it. But yeah, feel free to Google and make your own meatloaf sauce. But quick and easy meals for me. So let's put it back in for about 15 minutes and let it get to temperature. And then we're done. Oh yeah, look at all the juice in there. That's that 80-20, but that thing is juicy. We can dump that out here in just a minute. Ooh. Look at it. All right, there she is. Homemade meatloaf with instant mashed potatoes and green beans. Oh man, look how juicy that is. Folks, easy peasy. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped somebody. Again, it's a new channel, so please push the subscribe button for me. Push it. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next time.